I have like a whole episode I want to do on this.
I do, but I'd like to just hear kind of a microcosm of why you got into collecting, how it happened, and what's your main goal? What do you get from it? Are you into it for appreciation of your youth? Are you into it because of the art of collecting? Are you into it to make some money? Because some folks do it differently.
Well, on that last part, you are right. I mean, a lot of people do get into collecting for the reason, or should I say for the later, I guess, if they want to look at it as making some money later, they do. When I first originally started, nope, that was not in my mind at all. I actually started about a year after I had Braylon. I had a guy I used to work with. He had gave me he had bought a Macho Man wrestling figure, and I wasn't collecting. That happened to be Mattel. I wasn't collecting it, and I gave him $20 for it. He just bought it in Target or whatever. And I started looking on eBay, and I had never had any wrestlers at all. Even when I was younger, I'm pretty sure I didn't, from my recollection. I'm like, so I started looking, and I remember it was Easter Sunday, 2014. And I bought my first one, which they were Jacks. And I started buying those, but they were already contract expired. They weren't making them anymore. They weren't in control of that. Mattel had got the contract in 2010. So basically, I was buying stuff that was already out of contract and market. So I had sold them after I bought a handful and went to Mattel. So as I started buying them and buying them and buying them, I remember telling myself, okay, I'm only going to buy guys I like, old school guys I grew up watching, whatever. So it really just started with wrestling. And then as I started collecting more, I would grab Transformers because obviously that was probably my favorite cartoon growing up. And then He-Man Masters of the Universe wasn't until way later. But that's what it originally started, just off of the dime of just collecting. And maybe one day when he gets older, something to share with him, basically. Maybe even give it to him. If he wants to sell it, that's fine. If he doesn't, he can keep it. Something we can share as he gets older. Clearly, he's gotten into it now, knows a whole lot about it, a whole lot about the old wrestling. I mean, he watches the cartoons, all that stuff. It took him a while. But as time went by, I did, because I did pay a lot of, I paid some overprices, because I was buying stuff that was already out. So I had to pay some more. I had to pay a little bit more for certain things. Now I was buying new stuff that was coming out too. But with that said, as time went on, I did start doing the buying doubles, maybe keep one for later, sell it. I started buying a lot of stuff. Clearly there's a reason, because I had to buy a storage to hold all my stuff. And I'm like, it got out of control. I'm like, okay, hold a lot of stuff. I'm not going to open it because I might end up selling it. Then it just sat in storage more and more and more and more. And then I really didn't really think about selling things until obviously, COVID hit, stuff like that. It's a seller's market now. So I hadn't really been on eBay for a long time until last fall. I started looking. I'm like, man, I have a lot of stuff that's on here that's going for, it's all in the eye of the beholder, eye of the seller anyway. And or the buyer, what they want to pay for. So I started putting some stuff up and it was going, and I sold some things to kind of deplete my, quantity and kind of like shrink in that way. Maybe hopefully one day I get rid of my storage or whatever. So I started selling some stuff and going through it. And I'm like, I'm still in that mode of trying to figure out what I want to sell, what I don't want to sell. Do I want to keep it? Do I want to, do I want to share it with him? Do I want to let him have it? All those questions go through your head when you're a collector. Clearly, it depends on what you're collecting anyway, to ask yourself those questions. But that's pretty much how it started and how it's been for the last 10 years. It's been pretty much the same. I've pretty much came to the conclusion that what I have is what I want, and I'm only still at this point later, almost 10 years later, still trying to buy only what I want to buy, and only because I really want it and not because I'm thinking down the road I'm going to be selling it. Like everything I buy now, there's no inkling in my mind I'm going to be selling this. I'm going to hold this and sell it 2-3 years from now for double the price. Because what is really double the price going to do for you? What's it going to do for you? Especially in today's inflation market, what's it going to do for you? Get you some gas? Barely. But to answer your question, though, I mean, just as in how it started and why, that's pretty much how it started. Because when I had Braylon and thought it was something I could share something with him that I liked, that I never had, and he might like it. You know, that's why I would tell everybody, I'm like, why are you buying this stuff? Everybody would ask me, like, why are you buying this? So, like, why do you collect? Why did you just start? I'm like, because it was just something I thought maybe he might like, and, you know, to share it. And then it just obviously clearly grew into something else. So at this point.
So you wake up one day and you have more than you can possibly imagine. And they're items that maybe you don't even care about. What do you do in that situation?
Okay.
Because as a collector, we've all been there.
Yes. That's what happened to me. I've been knowing for years, and I'm like, you know what? I got a lot of stuff in storage I know I don't want. It got to the point where I just started buying a lot of stuff. Like I was talking to some guys online and forums. They were like, man, you were just buying any and everything. And I said, you know what? I was just getting into it and just, you know, sometimes it happens like that, especially with figures and stuff. They come in sets. So instead of you trying to like go find this one or two that's going to take you forever, you just buy the set, you're going to automatically get it. You don't have to worry about it. But then you get stuck with stuff you don't want.
Right.
So last fall is what happened. To answer your question about that, that's what happened. I knew there was stuff in storage I wanted to get rid of. I went and got it, and lo and behold, there's people sitting out there waiting for that stuff. And there's stuff that literally I posted in 5 minutes. It was gone, literally.
Same spot you were in. They were buying anything and everything, weren't they?
That, and a lot of people do in their case, they have kids. They do actually play with their stuff. They play with the kids. Because I sold a whole box of just open ones. And I was telling Braylon this. I said, this is the thing, especially people are still buying open things from 40 and 50 years ago. Love it. Don't care if it's in a box. They'd rather have it open. That way they don't have to pay more money. You know, or people buy damaged boxes because they know people try to hold that value if it's in a great pristine box, stuff like that. But yes, I knew there was a lot of stuff I didn't want. I did not need. I mean, do we ever need a lot of stuff anyway? No, we don't. But I mean, as far as in the collecting world, no, there was a lot of stuff I knew, and I got rid of, for the most part, I have gotten rid of most of the stuff I do not want. I'm still kind of going through some, because I have a handful of boxes here, and I look at it and I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm almost there. Pretty much everything I have now is about what I would like to keep.
I've heard that sometimes people will file a PayPal claim and say that they got something damaged that wasn't really damaged. That's a story for another time, I think, huh?
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
In the collection world, occasionally I get caught up in the goal of just collecting. It has nothing to do with my interest. It's about having all of it. So at one time, I wanted Jordans 1 through 23. I didn't care what color, high or low. I had to have one of each from 1 through 23, and they had to be original colors. And I worked my butt off. The one thing I wouldn't do is buy a pair of shoes someone else ever wore. I can't buy used shoes. I'm weird about feet. Well, that's for another time, I'm sure. I don't want to put something on that another man's head on his feet. That's weird to me. But being a size 14, it was a little bit rough over the years to collect Jordans in size 14, because being my size is a weird thing. They either sell out the first day or no one buys them at all. They're on clearance.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is. If everybody wants them, there's only 2 pairs in the store, they're bought. If not, they sit there for 2 months.
Yeah, or they only made 1 or 2 pairs.
Yeah. And funny story if we ever get around to talking about the old hookups. The guy at Finish Line had a friend who was a size 14, and they would get one pair, and his buddy would always get them. So I'd have to go to 3 or 4 stores every morning, and that's back in the day when my buddy Bob would throw his fit, and he would get mad because we'd be outside the chain link fence waiting, and no one was in front of us, but they wouldn't have a size 14.
They were already gone.
Yep, he was.
Yep,
oh,
that is nothing. That's the most. Oh man. Yeah,
oh my goodness.
Nothing like being there already, and you get there, they literally tell you we're all out. I'm like, you just opened, really? Yeah, stores were infamous for that.
Yeah, ain't nobody behind me, or ain't nobody in front of me.
Yeah, nobody's in front of me.
So we're here at 10 a.m. Greenwood Mall. What are you talking about? The tins were that way. The steel tins, remember that?
Ooh, white, gray, and black.
Yep, yeah. We went all the way to the east side to get those. That's collecting at its finest. But so when you have something that's open, obviously that lowers the value, right?
Yes, you would like to think so, but it's starting to be in this time and day. It seems like people are still trying to like creep prices up. Now, yes, if it's something like a G.I. Joe, a Star Wars, a Transformer, maybe Master of the Universe from like we're talking 40 years ago, and that thing's in, I mean, say it's not going to be in immaculate condition, but it's in like doable condition, maybe a little bit of paint gone, stuff like that. Yeah, those things are going high dollar. They're not like torn apart, legs off, this and that. Yeah, they're going. Yes, people love open stuff. They really do. I didn't think that would be a thing until some years ago. And I figured, I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, that's good, though. And it shows what, that some people aren't in it for, oh, I got to have that. They're not buying because of what it looks like in the box. Like they just want it. Maybe they're trying to complete their collection. Maybe they've had this collection. Like that's the only thing they've been missing, whatever they call it there. The one thing they've been chasing for the longest. So
that's kind of my mantra when it comes to shoes. I won't collect it if I've never worn it. Now I might buy a pair of shoes I'm going to wear and then dead stock a pair just to hold on to, so I have them later. But I wanted to play in every pair of shoes I ever owned. And obviously you know this, but a lot of folks out there don't. I collect cologne, and I'm going to wear every single cologne I ever buy.
Yeah.
I want to smell it. I love the art of smelling things. I love the idea of having colognes and something that intrigues me. So I'm going to spray every bottle and open every box I ever get.
Oh yeah.
I don't buy it just for the idea of collecting. That was never my thing. My thing was always, these are things I couldn't afford when I was a kid.
Yep.
Or these are things that if I felt like I was a genuine success, I would have this.
Yep.
And that's what collecting always meant to me.
Right.
And at some point, when it came to shoes, I had so many pairs because I played ball and I'd played ball in all of them, and I kept them all. It just became a collection for me. It doesn't sound like that's that way when it came to figures for you, but it sounds like you started buying things that maybe reminded you of your childhood and took you back to a place that was a little bit younger and more youthful. That's
basically what it came about. The question I can't answer, I ask myself, and I just really don't know if I didn't end up having kids. I guess we'll just say I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't know if I would have started though. I really don't know. That's something I can't. I've been trying to work. I've wondered that for years now. Do I think I would have had everything I have been buying this stuff if I end up having kids? Because that was like really the reason why.
So do you want me to answer that, or do you want to just throw that to the wind?
I'm down to hear what your thoughts are.
I remember a guy that wanted every FUBU jersey in every color they could get.
Yeah.
You've been a collector for a long time, and you wanted all of it. You'd still. So how many pairs of Jordans you have right now in the closet?
I don't know, maybe almost 30.
Is that all?
Yeah, I was probably just under 30.
So is that only 1 through 23?
I don't have anything. I don't think I have anything. I have that pair of 23s. I don't have anything over 13. I don't have any 14s anymore, 15. I don't have
30 pairs 1 through 13. Yeah. And that's probably 6 pairs of ones, isn't it?
2.
2? Oh. Okay.
2.
How many pairs of 11s?
3.
How many pairs of 13s?
5.
How many pairs of 12s?
12s. Well, I sold a pair 2 years ago, but the black and royal ones, but 1, 2, about 4.
So you're a collector. You've been a collector. You'd still have a collection if you didn't have kids. Just we're okay with that, right?
Well, but those are collections, yes, but like those are like more of adult collections, kind of. You know, I'm not.
You do have a cologne collection. Let's be clear.
Yeah, I have cologne bottles that I wear. Mm-hmm. It's cologne. I mean, yeah, it's a collection because it's a lot of bottles.
Mm-hmm. 30. Yeah.
I think I'm past 30. I might almost 40. I think I'm about 40 something.
Right.
I gave away a lot to my brother not too long ago. Help him out. So I do that every now and again, kind of, get some out of there, get some new ones, help people out that, want to smell good. But yeah, I think I was getting close to 40 before I gave some away. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I'm definitely collecting, and I'm not going to disagree with that at all. I meant just, figure collector. I mean, what do you want to call them? Figurines, collectible type stuff. I don't know if I would have been buying that stuff,
I think shoes and cologne are a little bit weird because any man who says he doesn't notice a man's shoes first off, as soon as they look at them, it's probably not telling all the way the truth. Don't you think?
I agree.
I always notice a dude's shoes.
I do.
Even homeless people asking for money, I'll notice if they're wearing new shoes.
Yep.
And then cologne is kind of a different thing because there's no single way you can make yourself more approachable than smelling nice.
Right.
You could have a smile, you could have nice clothes, all those things, but you could still be a jerk. Yeah. But if you smell nice, it's going to be that much easier to say something.
Yes.
So those two things kind of were embedded in me at a young age. And I've always just kind of been into colognes and candles and nice smells since I was young.
Yeah, I can say it was the same. Being raised around, mom and my grandmother, they always, they had colognes, and, they would get us colognes for Christmas, stuff like that. So
that's how mine started.
That's because, our grandmother worked for, she did Avon. So she would always get a bottle for Christmas, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we were like that too. They always taught us, just kind of, smell good, stuff like that. Make sure you clean up real good. So yeah, I mean, I think maybe that is where it comes from. If it's instilled at a younger age, you can always grow into it. On the smell cologne collectible side, you can grow into it, but I think also I think it's more embedded if somebody kind of like puts you up on it, because I don't know how long it would take you to, like, if nobody really showed you or taught you about it, or you just be like, oh, well, I'm just going to go and let me go see what this smells like. Just you want to go smell stuff because you just randomly want to. I think it comes from something from beforehand.
Yeah, you'd end up with a lot of mess.
Huh?
You'd end up with a lot of mess.
True.
If you try to do it all on your own and didn't pay attention.
No direction. Yeah, I agree. But like I said, as far as collecting, I mean, I didn't have any. I don't know if a lot of people even have direction with that. I think people just get older and just start buying stuff. Maybe, I don't know, or they figure they like something and Now some people buy things they probably shouldn't be buying. Now I do like to say I like to get things or hold things that have value. I still like to consider myself that. Most things I know they have value. And like if I really wanted to just be like, oh, I'm done. Like if I woke up tomorrow, it's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with everything. Gotta get rid of it. Mm-hmm. Shoes, figures, collectibles, colognes, even those, all that stuff can go. And I probably wouldn't have that hard of a time getting rid of it.
I feel like I could get by with 1 or 2 colognes and I'd be fine. But I've got like 300.
Right. And we've talked about that. And I think so too. I think once you got in that world, you could. It's just like it's probably kind of hard. I think it's harder to think about it when you just have so much of something. You just couldn't imagine yourself being like, but it's not, I'm not saying it's good to be like that, but you have to figure out, okay, because we've talked about that, like what 4 you would pick. And I think I probably could, even though I love a bunch of other ones, I think I could pick 4 and be content with, or a handful, whatever, shoes, I think it would be a little bit harder.
It would.
I think it would be a lot harder now. And then these, I think that would be pretty well. I don't think there'd be any like narrowing down. I'd probably just be getting rid of all of it. I don't think that would be that hard. It's either I'm keeping it or I'm not. One or the other. Yeah. Well, I'm like, why keep a couple? I mean, some people do. Some people only collect one certain thing, one person, one whatever it is. That's fun. That's funny too when it comes to that type of stuff. Some people only collect Transformers or Masters of the Universe or wrestlers or Hot Wheels. A lot of people like Hot Wheels, especially actual car, automobile people. They love that. They love to paint them themselves, stuff like that. So that's a lot easier because then you can kind of focus your money only on a certain thing. It's not all over the place. Kind of like mine, it's just all over the place. Everything. I mean, I have so many different things I get or have or collect that it's just, man, like, well, this is show. They showed this, they showed that, and I don't know. It's kind of getting, old, but I guess that's part of the game of collecting. I don't know. I mean, because
I don't know that a lot of people would tell you this, but from my perspective, your collection is you. You collect the stuff that you like, and to take a look at it shows a lot about what you're interested in. And I think that's very personal, at least from my perspective. I get an idea of what you're into because of what you like and what your collection consists of. And you put it right out there. Obviously, you can see it. You walk in your living room and boom, there it is. And we all know it. And it's unique just to you. And you're like, hey, I'm into these things. Whereas a lot of folks, they might collect something because it's what they couldn't get when they were kids or what they always dreamed of having and then made enough money later on in life to get, or it's just something they think, obviously we talked about it, that they can make money off of. They don't even care about the art of collecting. But obviously with yours, I know right away what you think is important and what you enjoy in life by looking at your collection. So from my perspective, if you didn't get rid of all of it, I wouldn't want to see you get rid of none of it.
And that's how I kind of looked at it. I wouldn't, well, people who have asked me that, or it's just in my mind. I literally thought about that this morning when I was going out the door, going to work, because I was sitting here and I'm like, I need to figure out what I'm really going to do with this. And there's this guy I do look at on YouTube, Major Collector. And I happened to just click on one of his videos because he was opening something from like 2011. Said he had a one in pristine. It was a Macho King Ringside Collectibles edition. He was opening it. He had 2. He had one that was in pristine condition, but he sold it. Had one in an old box that was starting to curl. So he's opening it. So we're talking 11 years old. And he goes, you know what? You know me. I have everything. I'm a pretty big collector, as you can see. You've seen my videos. And he goes, you know what I say? I buy damaged boxes. If I'm at a Target or Walmart, I buy damaged boxes because I'm going to open it. He said, I look at it as lending another brother a hand, somebody who keeps boxes, which that's pretty cool. Then what got me was, said, you know, as I say, if you're not going to display it, there's no need to have it. Mm. And I really thought about that. I was like, that kind of gave me my answer to what I need to do with everything. It's either it needs to go or like he said. Now I understand if you don't have the room, because at first I didn't have any shelves. I just been having stuff waiting.
And you couldn't buy any shelves either.
Huh?
And you couldn't buy shelves either. We went through that.
No, you couldn't. Literally for the longest. Yeah. But you know, as stuff starts coming back and people can buy stuff again. It really hit me today when we was watching that. Me and Braylon were actually watching. He's like, well, as I say, if you can't display it, you don't need it.
Right.
And so that kind of gave me a little bit of a direction. So we'll see where it goes with that. It's just, they do that. These companies, they know what they're doing. They know people love designs. They love the way things look in boxes. You got to give them reasons to buy things, whether they open or they don't. Because I'm not going to lie, a bunch of boxes, the artwork, people love the artwork. I love artwork on a lot of things. Some things don't look good sitting in a box. They just don't. The artwork's it's not enticing. That's the question you can ask yourself 1,000 times. Is it supposed to be sitting in a box? No, it's not. Because the stuff was originally made to be played with and is made for kids anyway. It just turned into a collector product. And now it is a collector product. It's not for kids anymore, really. I mean, it's still a lot of stuff is, but a lot of the stuff that, you know, that has price hiked, they know who's buying it. And that's why they continue to make the stuff.
And, you know, all hate aside, they're still marketing to kids, but they're kids that have way more money and they're now in their 30s.
There you go. I agree.
And I'm not trying to crap on anybody, so please don't take it that way. What I'm saying is there's a lot of us that grew up in a time where we couldn't just go out and buy these things and our parents weren't buying them for us.
No.
And then we saw the dude down the road that had the G.I. Joe. He had the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier that was $100.
I knew you were getting ready to say that. That long, super, yeah.
$100 to me was a different world.
Yeah.
Compared to what it is today. And somebody today is like $100. Pfft. So
yeah,
it's just that we live in a different world. They're still marketing to those folks. That's why they made the new Star Wars movies. That's why they make all these Marvel movies. They're marketing to a group of people who have expendable income, who are still trying to experience a youth that maybe they missed out on.
Yes.
And I think that's why retro Jordans took effect so strongly. It's a lot of things that some of us couldn't afford, but then we got to where we were at a working age.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to where we were working age. We were like, hey, why can't I have those now?
Yep.
So boom, 94, Force come out, retro, boom, we're buying.
Yep. Like I said, I didn't get a pair until, like I said, my first pair was number 14. I missed out on all the good years. I mean,
was that 99?
98. I got the black and red. Oh, there were shoes he wore in his last series against Utah.
Yeah, 98.
Those
Black
came
shots.
out. Yeah. Black and red. Yeah. That's how I feel. I mean, I am literally part of that, what you just said. And I've said that, I don't know how many times to people, or when they ask, you know, why, and you know that's why I really buy the stuff, because I didn't have it. But there's a part of me, I want it because I do like it. And if it looks good, I do want it. Mm-hmm. But I would say the bigger part of me is because I didn't have it, or it's about half, but I would say the bigger part is because I didn't.
I would agree with that. And I think that right there ought to wrap up a half hour of it.
I agree.